You can tell that a city is beautiful if people want to take pictures on its streets. This city is located in the northeast of Kazakhstan, and the desire to stop the moment is always present there. There are captivating architectural lines. This city strikes you with its calm atmosphere. The residents of the city have an unconditional love towards it. They admire its beauty all year round, even if at first glance there is not much to admire for the outsider's view. But this is just the first impression. From the Kazakhstani capital to Pavlodar, it is just over 400 kilometers, which can be overcome in 5 hours by taxi, 8 hours by train, or in 40 minutes above the clouds. In the ranking of Pavlodar city residents, #1 attraction is the riverside. If you happen to visit this town, the first thing you will do is visit the riverside. It is definitely the place to walk. It is so beautiful and picturesque here. It has both the architecture and the natural scenery. It is very interesting that the entire city is built on one bank of the river, so it feels like you are in the center of everything and have this beautiful skyline of the city. My favorite, #1 place is definitely the riverside. Especially it is beautiful at night. Every day I'm walking from the ice town to the boat stop. Now in winter with snow it looks very nice, and the weather is also nice. Here it is necessary to make a note. Not all is warm, what is warm for Pavlodar resident. We arrived in the city in the early spring, however there is a lot of snow in some places. The temperature is -12 and the cold wind now and then try to rip our heads off. This kind of weather is fun for the young residents of Pavlodar. Literally any snow hill for them is a reason to skate and even make snow angels. This kind of enjoying life mini Homo sapiens can be found in any part of the city. Their mood can be easily understood if we consider that winter temperatures here can drop to -50 or more. But even harsh winters pose a lot of excitement for particularly adventurous tourists. The spectacle is not for the faint-hearted guests. It is swimming in the river in the Epiphany frosts in the middle of each January. Epiphany. We went to see it last winter. We just went to see it. We didn't go swimming. Everything is organized on a very high level. There are medical service and warm building nearby. This year they even had sauna. It was awesome. Of course, there can be no winter without winter outdoor activities. There are all the conditions provided in the city and as a whole in the Pavlodar region.
В Павлодарской области минимум 2, то есть крупных.
Pavlodar region has minimum of 2 tourism places, Bayanaul and Chernayarsk Pearl. We have a large flow of the Russian tourists. Also people of Kazakhstan are coming too. These places have picturesque scenery, lots of mountains and crystal lakes. If the lights of winter frosts don't sound attractive to you, you can visit Pavlodar in the warmer months, somewhere between May and October. The city is beautiful at this time of year. There are numerous fountains, surrounded by sparkling colorful beds of flowers, and there are places where you can go. There are plenty of unique places in the city. We have a wonderful house museum of Bagayev. He was the founder of photographic art in the Pavlodar region. It is the only museum of photography on the Irtysh River. In Pavlodar there is a unique museum of vinyl records. It is one of its kind. It is the largest in the CIS. The House Museum of Naum G. Schaffer. Tens of thousands of records and books, including vintage fragile ones. People come here every Friday, not only lovers and connoisseurs of literature and music of classical, national and other genres. Different people from overseas, high officials, diplomats, especially people from South Korea and Israel, come here to listen to different records.
Я знаю точно Южной Кореи, Израиля, просто послушать какие-то записи.
The House Museum of Naum Shafer is a miracle and pride of the city. Imagine in Pavlodar there is one of, or perhaps the richest collection in the world of vinyl records. Naum Shafer collected those records his whole life on his humble teacher's salary. There are more than 25,000 of records, 1,500 reel of tape recordings and audio cassettes, laser discs, more than 500,000 pieces of music and an extensive film library. And if it is still not enough, there is a little library of more than 20,000 books, old magazines and newspapers. Indeed, Naum Shafer was a unique person, and if you visit Pavlodar, don't forget to visit the museum every Friday to see everything for yourself. Every Friday evening the museum holds events where the Society of Simply Smart and Interesting People, local intelligentsia and guests who also appreciate the art of music and literature gather together. When you will have enough of spiritual food, you can think about your physical energy. Pavlodar is an inexpensive city according to European standards. Numerous cafes and restaurants offer you a decent selection of European and Oriental cuisine at affordable prices. The same can be said about the options for an overnight stay. Stars of the local hotels range from 1 to 4, with a set of all possible spa and all kind of entertainment provided on the site. It's time to take a stroll through the streets of Pavlodar. Surprisingly, hundreds of cities in the former Soviet Union still have a street name after the esteemed communist Vladimir Lenin. Pavlodar is not an exception. Although on Pavlodar's Lenin Street architecture is not even close to the Leninist times, there are buildings that were built in the 19th century and maybe even the 18th. The city is very old. In 1720, the city was founded. In 1862, it was named Pavlodar.
Улица Ленина – это вообще старая часть. Здесь находились и
Lenin Street. This is the old part of the city. There were the famous shopping arcades of the widely famous merchant Artem Derov. He invested in culture, was a patron and was engaged in industrial development not only in Pavlodar, as far as I know, but also in Ekibastuz. And here is another old building, Chekhov Theater and an ancient mosque. If I am not mistaken, since 1901 it was built by the Tatar merchant Ramazanov. He donated funds for the construction. And here are so many other ancient objects that kept the exterior and architectural appearance of the Tsar time.
и очень много других объектов старинных, которые вот сохранили, понимаете, вот внешний вот этот архитектурный облик еще царского времени.
Regional Chekhov Drama Theater is an institution of a high seriousness. They have already opened the 70th theatrical season in a row. And in the current repertoire, there are about 30 performances by the most famous works of Russian classics. In general, the fun is guaranteed. We have a great theater indeed. We have Drama Theater of Chekhov. It is also a very good theater. They have a great repertoire. Their director, Avakumov, is great. Go ahead down the Lenin Street. Make sure to visit the Historical Museum of Potanin. The very building is already history. It was built in 1899 by the same well-known merchant Artem Derov. However, a rich patron merchant was building not the museum, but rather a huge shopping mall. But today it is a museum, in the halls of which there are about 80,000 of exhibits that reveal the history of the region since ancient times. A great attention deserves the skeleton of the large horned deer. There are literally only 5 copies of such skeletons around the world today. These luxury horns and bones are so valuable that it allows Pavlodar to easily get rid of provincial town status. Simply, there is one archaeological nuance. The skeleton belongs to one deer, and each of his bone is real. As experts explain to us, very often ancient skeletons are collected in installments, using the remains of various animals, and sometimes just missing items are carved from wood. Pavlodar large horned deer is 100% original. By the way, the ancient remains in Pavlodar can be seen not only in museums.
Прямо в черте Павлодара, в северо-западной части города, находится уникальный памятник природы «Гусиный перелет».
In the northwestern part of the city, there is a unique monument of nature, goose flight. According to my data, there are just 2 of them in the world. Some analog is near the capital of Greece, Athens. What is so unique about the monument goose flight? There is a huge number of ancient remains of the so-called mammalian fauna. We are talking about a cluster of bones of woolly rhinos, who gave the name to this fauna: mammoths, morel, bison and other animals that lived in the Pavlodar-Irtysh regions from 2 to 20 or 25 million years ago. It is not necessarily that they went right there in the place where the goose flight is now. It is the flow that took all of them there and saved them at that particular place. And today it is possible to find these bones and visit this place.
Ходили именно на том месте, где находится гусиный перелет, просто вот течением их всех вот туда снесло, и время их сохранило. И вот сегодня действительно можно там найти эти кости, побывать на этом месте.
Northeastern and eastern parts of Kazakhstan are so picturesque that there are probably no problems with the variety and number of animals and plants. Pavlodar city stands on the banks of the largest in the country Irtysh River. In its waters, there are dozens of species of fish which allow fishing right in the city. On land, you can hunt. However, this is strictly regulated, so before taking a gun, take care of the acquisition of special permits.
Путевку можно получить, насколько я знаю.
The permit can be obtained. As far as I know, they are properly called forestry, where they issue special permits. For a certain fee, all this can be done officially. It is a full support, with legal documents. They help you to avoid problems. For example, if you killed a moose and police saw you, these permits will help you to avoid paying fines of several thousands of dollars.
Вот от этого они избавят.
But the best thing is to simply enjoy nature. Forest oases in the steppe country. Local beauties were admired by poets, and these places deserve that. The air of this particular region deserves a special story. Choosing the right time, you can get a truly great pleasure from the beauty of native birds.
Здесь очень интересные, красивые птицы.
There are very interesting and beautiful birds. There are people who are engaged in ornithology and photography. There is such a thing as bird photographing or bird watching. And Pavlodar region is home to around 200 types of wild birds. This is also an opportunity for those who just come to see the birds, who want to relax and improve nervous system. I would advise you to come here to see them, especially during the summer, when they sing. This is just an awesome experience. Literally, the most superficial acquaintance with Pavlodar allowed us to make a very simple conclusion: you should definitely come here. This place is great in all its aspects. Here a person interacts harmoniously with nature, the past is interwoven with the present, and its own special local flavor peacefully coexists with modern realities. This is very interesting.